Welcome to the Aguilar Artist Loft. I'm Dave Boonshoft. I'm here with Jonathan Marin, my good friend and a fantastic New York City bassist. Today we're going to demonstrate Aguilar's range of precision bass pickups. We have the AG4P60, the hot P bass pickups, and we make a great PJ set with a hum canceling jazz bass pickup. How you doing today, Jonathan?
Very well, thanks.
All right. Jonathan, I'm going to ask you to play something indicative of a Motown groove. This is the sound of the P bass with the tone control rolled all the way back. Jonathan's also going to mute the strings with the side of his right hand. This is going to give us the deepest, richest, most lush P bass sound that you can get. This is the Motown sound. Jonathan.
Okay.
All right, Jonathan.
Sort of like that.
Yes, exactly like that. Jonathan is playing one of my favorite basses. It's a 64 P bass, and it has a deep, lush, rich, funky sound that goes perfectly and has been used over and over again in many, many pop, rock, jazz, and R&B recordings. Let's try another sound that you might have heard coming out of Chicago. This is the sound you get when you roll up the tone control on a P bass. You end up adding a little nose. Hopefully not quite as big as my nose, but a little bit of high mid-range that gives it cutting power and a different tone than you might have heard out of Detroit. So we might have heard something coming out of Chicago that sounds like this. That's the AG4P60 pickup. You've been listening to it in a vintage 64 Fender P bass with big fat labella flat wound strings on it. Jonathan's playing a beautiful F bass made by George Furlanetto of Canada. George is now featuring the Aguilar 4P60 pickups in his line of precision basses. Now, while this is not a vintage P bass, it has all the character of a vintage P bass. A lot of the P bass sounds of the 60s, 70s had an aggressive tone played with a pick. With round wound strings like on this bass and a maple fingerboard, you got a great sound, lots of definition, a lot of rhythmic pulse. Jonathan. There you have it, the AG4P60 pickups being used in a context that creates the rhythmic drive of 70s and the 80s, played with a pick and round wound strings. Jonathan's playing the AG4P Hot pickup by Aguilar. This is a pickup that has larger pull pieces, is overwound, has a much bigger dynamic attack. But what's special about it is that unlike some other hot pickups, the mid-range is still there. It's dynamic, it's powerful. You're going to hear that the larger pull pieces and extra windings, we're going to give you a bigger dynamic bloom on the attack of the note. It's going to feel great for jazz. So kind of swinging. One of the more obvious uses of a hot pickup is to play rock music and heavy music. This pickup is going to be loud and aggressive and doesn't lose the mid-range the way some other hot pickups might. Jonathan, play something heavy. Yeah, sounds great. I should mention that this is a bass made by M Basses, John Mangini, and it features our hot P-bass pickups, the AG4P Hot. The next pickup we're going to demonstrate is the Aguilar AG4PJ HC pickup. This is a PJ set. It features one precision bass pickup, 60s style, and a split coil jazz bass pickup so that it's humbucking. That's this. You can see the split coil construction. This means you have no hum from the jazz bass pickup in the PJ set. The PJ set is very versatile. Let's start by listening to the bass featuring about 70% of the precision pickup, and we'll blend in the jazz bass about 30% and see what that sounds like. Jonathan. Yeah. Now let's try featuring the jazz bass pickup, going about 70% jazz bass pickup and 30% P bass pickup for a more articulate, defined sound. Now let's take a listen to the precision and jazz bass pickup mixed 50-50. With some PJ sets, you might find that they don't blend well together and they don't bounce well, but this set really does. Thanks, Jonathan.
Sure.
You've been listening to the sound of Aguilar's AG4PJ HC pickups. They're installed in a Valente bass, and that's how you've been hearing them. You can get your own Valente bass by calling Nino Valente in Long Island and insisting on Aguilar pickups in your bass. Well, that's it for today from the Aguilar Artist Loft. You've been listening to a demonstration of Aguilar's precision bass pickups, the AG4P60, the AG4P Hot, and the AG4PJ HC. I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart Jonathan Marin, terrific bass player and my good friend who's been demonstrating the pickups for us today. Thank you, Jonathan. Groovin' as always. So we'll see you next time at the Aguilar Artist Loft. Hope you enjoyed the product demonstration.